Gotta get right for spiritual story time, baby. I love myself. Hi guys, it's your boy Jasharman here with another video. We're gonna be starting to do things a little bit differently, guys. I'm a pretty spiritual kind of person, so I definitely want to show that on my YouTube channel. Today, we're gonna be talking about my spiritual journey up to the point that I returned to the Caribbean from London, and when I first started noticing my abilities, if you want to call it. Yes, I have abilities. I don't know if it's by accident or I'm hypersensitive or I'm off whack or something. It's pretty overbearing to other people. It's even overbearing to me. But regardless, it is happening and it doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon. So I want to talk about it with you guys to get your guys' opinion on the matter and see if we can relate and we can help each other out. So, starting from the beginning. Oh yes, the beginning. So I first started noticing that something was happening to me when I moved to college. About my final year in college, I spent 4 years in college in San Francisco. I went to the Academy of Art University there, art school. I majored in directing, and I did acting on the side. And during my final year, I had already moved off campus for a while, and I was staying in, I don't even remember what the section of San Francisco is called, but it was really close to the Castro area. It was fairly close to there. There's like this huge park there, and I noticed I was starting to get these downloads, these spiritual downloads, and I would feel it right at the top of my head where my crown chakra was, and it would be this sense of euphoria or bliss and like relaxation would come over me, and it would last fairly so often. It would happen maybe like once or twice a week. I didn't think too much of it. It felt great, and at that time I'm like, cool, awesome, this stuff is happening to me. So I went to do a meditation. They were holding a free meditation right pretty close to where I was living at the time. And I went and we did the meditation, and the same feeling came over me. And the guy there explained to me that I was getting these downloads. Great, awesome. Moving right along, didn't think much of it, felt cool. I was a happy boy. After I graduated, I came back to Anguilla in the Caribbean, where I am now, before I went off to London. And when I was back here just chilling, hanging out, is when I started noticing the stars in the sky, the signs in the sky, right? So, it'd be at night, and during that time, family was visiting, my brother was visiting, my cousins, my aunts, and I'd be driving, and out of the blue, just looking into the sky, I'd see a shooting star just fly past. But it wasn't a shooting star because it would appear and then disappear. A white light. Very, very far in the distance, but you could see it. And I'd be like, did anyone else see that? I wouldn't tell anybody because, like, almost intuitively, I kind of knew it was for myself. It's hard to explain. But it was for me. So I didn't really mention it to anyone. Because first of all, it's kind of strange you seeing lights appearing in the sky and then disappearing. So you kind of keep that thing to yourself. Thankfully, later on, I was actually sitting on a beach chair, gazing up at the sky. And my brother was sitting on a beach chair as well, right beside me, staring up at the same place. And that same light appeared and disappeared. And my brother was like, what the heck was that? And I was so happy to the point that I almost started crying because I was so glad that someone else saw it besides myself. Of course, my brother would say, now, I don't know what the heck I did actually see, if it was anything at all, you know? But I'm glad he did see it. He saw it. Great. So, moving right along, I was in a time in my life, you know, I had graduated college in 2012, which was ironically around the time where I was starting to see these signs and get these feelings the way that I did. After this, I moved to London, and I spent 2 years in London. I was kind of a little bit lost. I didn't know what I was doing, but I went there to live there. And I was in East London for all the time I was living there. And I started off in Shadwell. And one more thing I should mention before going to London, one of the major things that I happened to notice as well was that when we would go out to party, my family, my friends, when I was around like the other people at like a bar or something, I would start feeling tipsy or feel drunk. And I was like, why do I feel tipsy? Why do I feel drunk? I haven't drank yet. Why do I feel this way? And I noticed it would happen when I was around other people that were drinking. And so I'm just trying to deduct what could be the reason behind this. It wasn't anything bad at the time. It wasn't anything bad because my abilities weren't as severe as they are now. But at that time, I was thinking to myself, well, you know how some people get contact high when they're around other people that smoke weed? Does the same thing happen when you're around people that are drunk? That's the only thing I can think of. Little did I know that I was actually picking up on their third eye, their pineal gland, and the energy that was being produced from the drinking that they were doing. When someone gets drunk or when someone drinks, the alcohol goes to their brain and it enters their pineal gland and it opens it up. And I think that's what helps bring on that euphoric, happy-go-lucky feeling that you get when you drink. Now, you can get that same feeling through meditation, and you can see a lot of monks acting like they are drunk and they're completely sober because they've meditated so much and they're just now in this state of bliss all the time. But that's what I was picking up. I was picking up that feeling of bliss, that feeling of drunkenness that they were experiencing. And this picking up the feeling of other people's, how they're feeling, began to develop more as I was living in London. So I started noticing when people were sad, I would feel sad, and I'm like, why do I feel sad? I'm not sad, but being around this person that was sad, it was making me sad. From everything from someone next to me sleeping. I remember one time I was at this conference. I was trying to do sales, and we had journeyed all the way from London to somewhere next to Amsterdam, Rotterdam. And there was this huge conference there on how to sell these products like beauty, television, cell phones, all of that stuff. And the guy next to me, he had fallen asleep. And as hard as I tried to stay awake during this conference, I would constantly doze off because his brain pattern was changing to now a slower state. He's falling asleep, and it would just affect me, and it was hard for me to stay awake that way. So things like that, from people feeling sad in London when I was back in London, everything, you name it, I would be the one picking it up. And the most intense feelings that I suppose I got from other people were when other people were having sex. I would feel that they were having sex. I could tell the difference between if it was actual sex or masturbation. I could tell things like that, just different energies I would be picking up. Those are some of the top ones I can think of off the top of my head. So I'm in London trying to find my way. I'm doing sales. I'm feeling these energies. Don't know exactly where they're coming from. I'm on my own. And so things just started to get worse from there. I found myself in some trouble. Had to go to the hospital. They had to do an operation on me. I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks. Missed the whole summer because I was in hospital. And these powers, these abilities just developed even more, even though I was in the hospital. Thank God they weren't how they are now, or I don't know how I would have gotten through that time, let alone time in London. So yeah, I'm in London, recovering from this operation now out of hospital. And all this time, I'm still doing my thing spiritually. I'm trying to do meditation as consistently as I can. I was still doing yoga because I was teaching yoga to myself at the time, and I actually wanted to go on teaching yoga in London. I was trying to find a place that would take me on, but then things just got crazy. So I think from the yoga, from the meditation, my spirituality, my spiritual abilities were developing, and I wasn't aware that this could happen at the time. So when these things were happening to me, I didn't know where to start, or I was just accepting them. They had put me into housing, and my mother had come to help me at the time, to help me recover and just to take care of me while I was recovering. They put me into housing, the government, because I wasn't able to work. And so while I was in that housing, it was to the point now, my abilities, I can feel what other people were doing next door to me. I could sense everything. I can tell when someone has maybe a brain trauma, because certain parts of my brain will pick up on it, and just I won't go into like I have a brain trauma, but it will be like a tenseness or an energetic feeling there that's trying to resolve. And I think the whole reason why I have this ability, this empathy, this transcendentness, which is a ability to feel into others and others to feel into you, is because I'm supposed to heal them. I guess is one aspect of it. I'm supposed to heal whatever is not good, and if it is good, I will pick up on it, and it will raise my vibration. And I kind of try to suck out the negative stuff that's in them, because apparently I can handle it, because I have now opened my chakras through yoga and meditation. So I didn't know that at the time, right? And balancing the act between protecting yourself as an empath from the feelings around you to helping other people is a really thin line, because you can pass someone on the street and you can tell, oh, this guy's really angry, or this guy's really, really sad, right? And because you're feeling into them so much and they're not really aware of what's going on, you can send the wrong signal sometimes. Like, you could be like hi, and they're like, what the heck, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just passing by. But like, you know what's wrong. And there's like, you want to tell them what's wrong, but you have to hold back sometimes because you can't help everybody. So you have to pick and choose who you help. The only problem is with me, I don't get to pick and choose whose energies I'm feeling. It's just like a free-for-all. I feel anything and everything around me. So I'm in London. My mom has left. I'm on housing on my own, and I'm trying to find a job. I meet some roommates. They're pretty cool people. And yeah, they were just doing their own thing. And this is where I found out about, okay, let me explain how it happened. So I was at sleep one night, and I was using these energy sound healings at night to help heal my scar and my injury and my body, and just like keep me peace and at calm, right? And it's nighttime, and I suddenly get this energy, like a shaking, like a vibration, like all over my body, right? It doesn't hurt or anything. It's just like, you know, when you go, it's like if you were to sit on top of a washing machine and the vibration of the washing machine just runs throughout your body. That's how it felt like, right? And then that energy began to focus itself right on my genitals, right? So from that, I now know without a doubt that the lady that was living, and the co-neighbor, the person that was living in the same house as me, she was upstairs from me, and I'm almost positive that she was using a vibrator at the time to pleasure herself. I'm 100% sure that's what it was. So it's examples like that. The closer it is to feeling, which is your second chakra, your sacral chakra, the chakra of sex, the chakra of desire, the chakra of need, hey, I'm gonna pick up on it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just instances like that. I tried to go to a Gong course to help. I didn't know what Gong was at the time. This is still back in London after my mom has left. I'm still looking for a job. I find this Gong course place, and I enter it and I try Gong for the first time. And if you guys don't know what Gong is, it's kind of like Tai Chi, where you use your body's own energy to heal yourself and to balance your energies. And when I say that felt amazing, it felt amazing. I was still very, very weak at the time. And like even wrong movements would be very vital, like twisting and stuff. So just having that energetic cleanse was very, very good. And what I noticed after the cleanse, I was coming home, I was on the bus coming home from the Gong course, was that there was this gentleman about two blocks ahead of me in London. I was about just a couple blocks from being home. And when I was walking behind him, he began to cough, like all the way up the road, right? The 2 blocks that he was ahead, he began coughing, and I felt that cough. So I now began to be able to measure how far my ability was reaching other people at the time. You understand? I had just cleansed my energy, you understand? So everything was clear, everything was open. When people are coughing or they sneeze around me, that's blockages in their system from being around me being cleared to help them get a higher vibration. That's what it is. That's why they say, I bless you when you sneeze. You're coughing up a mucus and everything when you cough to clear the pathways in your lungs. And just energetically, I'm helping you do that. But I had no idea how far my reach was at the time. So now that I have an idea how broad my thing is, my my aura of reaching other people was at the time, I had a better understanding of, you know, what was going on at least. I would then go to clubs and stuff, go to bars in East London still, try to get out and have a little bit of fun. And I just couldn't. And when I say I couldn't, it's because London is known for its drinking. People get shattered on weekends. They get so drunk on the weekends. It is crazy. It is just complete mayhem in London on the weekends. They go hard, they work hard, and so they want to play hard too. They get really drunk. And being around that low vibration of the drunkenness, I no longer could be around to the point where I could enjoy myself. I would have to fight so hard and focus on what I was doing so intently in order to, you know, live it up and enjoy myself. And it's just a vibration you just don't want to be around. All that stuff happened, and I was living in East London, right? Noticing my abilities, still healing, and lo and behold, my landlord tells me that the space I was living in, I can no longer live there because he wants to combine that space with another space there to create one big space for the person to rent. So I was subletting anyway at the time, so I had to vamoose. I had to go and get out and find a place. Oh Lord, the chaos that ensued after that. I could barely lift anything at the time because I was still healing. Thankfully, I was going to church in London, and I knew this guy named Jack, and so he helped me move. Church was pretty nice. You always felt better when you went to church. There was still a sense of sadness that I could feel with some people, but overall the blessing of the church and the singing especially was vibrations that I really, really liked, so I partaked in the church. And I was still confused on what was going on and how this would relate to Christianity anyway. But regardless, I met some cool people and they kind of like just helped me to relax and enjoy myself. So this guy named Jack, he was one of the priests there at the church actually, but he was, you know, pretty young, pretty hip, pretty cool. He helped me move from that place and to the next place, which was like 4 blocks away, which wasn't very far at all. I'm gonna tell you what happened when I went to that place to live in the second part, okay? I'll tell you that in the second part. But just know that it gets crazy. It gets even crazier. Because I'm living here in the Caribbean now, so what happened between moving to that place and then moving back here is a whole nother story. Well, that's my spiritual story time, guys. If you guys have any ascension symptoms, if you guys are empaths, have any psychic abilities, transcendent, have seen things in the sky, where you would like to share here, please go ahead, write about it down in the comments below, and maybe we can kind of resolve what these feelings are and why we're having them. I do have I think I know why these things are happening from the research that I've done, but I'm just curious to see your guys' opinion. Okay, great. That's it for this story time that went on for a really, really long time. We're out here. You guys like my background? Matches my shirt. Those are actual waves in the background. I did say I was in the Caribbean. I'll see you guys next time on Spiritual Story Time. Until then, take care of yourself. Go in peace. Namaste.